Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over the NBA slate on DraftKings for Monday, October the 29th. We have a 9-game slate for this Monday. This is a big slate when it comes to injuries and just keeping up with the injuries. So I always want to tell you guys, or you should always know that I do record my videos the night before the slate starts. So I'm recording this Sunday night. This is kind of my first look at the slate. These will always be my first looks at the slate. Two big injuries on this slate. Giannis is questionable, and Anthony Davis is questionable. Depending on who's out, like if Giannis is out, AD's out, if they play, both of them play, could totally impact the slate, could just totally impact the guys that we want to roster. So make sure you take note of that. Right now, as I'm recording this video, both guys are questionable. I'll try and do my best to talk about which ways we should attack this slate. If Giannis plays, if Giannis is out, if AD plays, if AD's out. I'll cover like both scenarios. We're going to go through each position, talk about the slate, talk about my favorite plays, try and give you guys some of my early looks and early thoughts about this 9-gamer. But before we do get started, guys, I would appreciate it if you would drop a like on the video. It really means a lot. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Also, if you want to check out my Week 8 review for NFL, going over the Week 8 NFL slate, I'm going to be uploading that on Monday sometime early on in the day around 11, 12 Eastern. Would appreciate it if you would check that video out. But yeah, let's go ahead and look at point guard for today. So I think there's like two core plays at this position, depending on how those injuries break. So for me, Drew Holiday and Eric Bledsoe, depending on if Giannis and AD play or if they're out. If Giannis and AD are both out, then Drew Holiday, Eric Bledsoe, two of my favorite plays on this slate. Gonna be very popular, but for good reason. Drew Holiday, I have interest in whether AD plays or not. I just think Holiday's a really good option here at 6,700 against Denver. This is a good spot, fast-paced game, really good, high-scoring game. I expect this to be. Pretty sure it has one of the highest totals on the slate, if not the highest total. We're going to see a lot of points scored in this game. If Anthony Davis does not play, Drew Holiday is going to have the ball in his hands a ton. We already know that Payne's going to be out, so Drew Holiday is probably going to be playing point guard here. For the Pelicans, just going to have a lot of opportunity to dish out assists. Just a great spot for Drew Holiday. He always does well when Anthony Davis is out. If AD is out, love Holiday. If AD plays, I'm still going to have a ton of exposure to Drew Holiday at 6,700. Then Eric Bledsoe is the other guy I wanted to mention. So I would put Eric Bledsoe in my core, but for right now, just taking a guess, I think Giannis is probably going to play and Anthony Davis is going to be out. That's the way I feel like it's going to go. Hopefully we get the news before lock. Both of these games are at 8 o'clock. An hour after lock, or I think the Toronto-Milwaukee game's at 8, and then the Pelicans and Nuggets game's at 9, so we might not have Anthony Davis news before lock. Hopefully we'll get news on Giannis before lock. If he's out, then Eric Bledsoe at 6,100 becomes a strong play, a core play for me. But we'll go ahead and start up at top, trying to get away from the stronger plays, look at maybe some tournament options. So Steph Curry at 10,200, I probably won't be on too much today. I just don't really like any of the expensive point guards because if those injuries shake out the way I think they're going to, this position for me is all about Drew Holiday and Eric Bledsoe. Guys like Simmons, Lillard, Oladipo, Lowry, I just don't feel like I'm going to be going too heavy on. I just love Drew Holiday in this spot. I love Eric Bledsoe at 6,100 if Giannis does not play. You do have tournament options though, like in the price range as pivots away from those guys who I expect to be popular. Jamal Murray at 6,300, I do like here at home against the Pelicans. We could definitely go to him if we wanted to go there. If you want to go down to the 5K range, look at options here. Like this matchup for Jeff Teague at 5,300, could possibly be in play. He feels just a tad bit too cheap. Andrew Wiggins could be out, so that could open up a few more shots, a little bit more opportunity for Jeff Teague. Also, Cameron Payne is probably going to continue to start for the Bulls. Never really know what we're going to get from this guy, but at 4,800, he's still cheap. He should still be starting and playing roughly 20-25 minutes. If he's playing well, he'll exceed that amount and sometimes get like 27-28 minutes. But I can reasonably project Payne for about 22 to 24 minutes. I think that's probably his floor. His ceiling for minutes is definitely in the upper 30s, or not the upper 30s, the lower 30s. We've seen him play like 32 minutes this year. Against the Warriors, who we know play fast, 4,800, you could go to Cameron Payne as a value play, but I don't love a lot of the cheap options here. Like Frank Ntilikina, they talked about The Knicks have talked about giving him minutes at point guard, but the dude just isn't effective when it comes to fantasy. He just isn't a high usage guy, just doesn't put up a lot of shots. Even against Brooklyn, I'll probably be shying away from Ntilikina today. So point guard, didn't talk about a ton of guys, but for me, love Drew Holiday here, love Eric Bledsoe if Giannis does not play. And then tournament guys, I'll probably have a little bit of exposure to. Probably have some exposure to Simmons maybe at 9,700. Maybe just a small percentage of Simmons, a small percentage of Curry. Maybe like a little bit of Trae Young, but that's probably it for me. It's just mostly going to be Holiday and Bledsoe. For me at this position, maybe a guy like Jeff Teague if I need a cheaper option. But let's go ahead and move on to shooting guard. Obviously Curry's eligible here if you want to play him here. We do have Kawhi Leonard at 9,600, who I'm probably going to shy away from. I just don't love this spot for Kawhi. He's expensive as well. DeMar DeRozan been playing really well, but he's also gotten priced up to 9,100. I just feel like there are stronger plays for cheaper. If I'm going to pay $9K, 9,600 for guys, we have LeBron on this slate who we could consider. I do like LeBron. You got Jokic against the Pelicans, who could potentially be without Anthony Davis. I think I'd probably want to go there if I'm paying $9K or above for a player on this slate. So Kawhi and DeMar DeRozan, I'll probably be shying away from. Jimmy Butler, 8,200 against the Lakers, I do really, really like here. Probably won't be fitting him into a ton of lineups, but maybe if value opens up, Jimmy Butler with that matchup against the Lakers, definitely like him if you want to play him as shooting guard. Looking for cheaper options though, in the 6K range, love Gary Harris here. Gary Harris just going to see a lot of usage increase with Will Barton off the court. I expect Harris to play a ton of minutes if it's a competitive game. He's going to be looking at 35, 36, 37 minutes if the game's competitive. And at 6,200, he can easily pay off this price tag, especially against the Pelicans, a team that we know plays very fast. Love this game just as a game stack. Just so many good plays on both sides. Love Harris at 6,200 shooting guard. You can also play Jamal Murray at 6,300. Eric Bledsoe, really strong play, like I mentioned, at 6,100 if you want to go there. And then looking for value at this position, if we're trying to go cheap, there isn't really a lot of value I love. Like Cameron Payne at 4,800, I've talked about multiple times, but not sure how strong of a play that is. Don't know if I want to be too heavy on Cameron Payne. Like Dwayne Dotson, I think that's his name. He's been getting some good minutes for the Knicks, but isn't a very effective player. Even if he plays 30 minutes, you're really not going to get much from Dotson. But he is facing Brooklyn. It's 4,800. If he's going to play 30 minutes against Brooklyn at 4,800, I think we definitely do want to consider him as a cheaper option we could go to as shooting guard. And then one more play, if Andrew Wiggins is out again, Josh Okogie at 4,200. Should probably be looking at upper 20s in minutes if Wiggins is out. Depending on how effective he is with the minutes is a question. You don't really know what you're going to get from this guy, but he is facing the Lakers. He's cheap. He'll probably play a lot of minutes if Wiggins is out again. It's definitely in play for me as long as Wiggins is out. Let's go ahead and move on to small forward. Giannis up top here, who, like I said, is questionable. Don't know if I even want to play Giannis at 11-6. Even if he plays here against the Raptors, he'll probably be guarded by Kawhi. LeBron's 11-4. Facing the Timberwolves, I do like LeBron here. Depending on how much exposure I have to him is a question. I feel like I'm not going to be playing a lot of the top guys on this slate. I feel like I'm going to be going sort of more of a balance. Like a lot of the guys in the 6 to 7K range, I feel like are really strong plays, especially if Giannis and AD are out. So LeBron, 11-4, I would prefer over Giannis, but I don't feel like I'm going to be too heavy on either. KD at 10-4, just not a guy I feel like I'm going to really get to at that price tag. Great matchup against the Bulls, but I'd rather probably just get up to LeBron, Giannis, or just go cheaper at this position. But the guys I've kind of already talked about are all up top here. So let's go to the mid-range. If Anthony Davis is out today, like I expect him to be, Nikola Mirotic, very strong play at 7,300. Just too underpriced if AD is going to be out. He's going to play a ton of minutes, just 7,300 for Mirotic with AD out. It's just too cheap a price. AD was out in that last game against Utah, but the game blew out. Mirotic only played 28 minutes, but he still put up 36 fantasy points in 28 minutes. This game, I imagine, is going to be competitive against Denver. I expect Mirotic to play his full minutes, can easily get 45, 50 DraftKings points, and just really crush value on this price. So love Mirotic. If AD plays today, I'll probably be getting off of Mirotic, but if AD is out, Mirotic at 7,300 very strong play at small forward. And then looking maybe for cheaper plays if we're trying to find value here, definitely a value play I like in the 5K range. So Nemanja Bjelica at 5,300 has been getting a lot of minutes for the Pelicans. Starting to begin the year, I should say, Bjelica's minutes were a bit iffy. Like we'll see in the season opener, 27 minutes against Utah. Then he only played 11 minutes, then 31. Then it went down to 21. But the last two games, Bjelica's played 32 and 36 minutes, and that's resulted in 43 and 53 DraftKings points. He's going to continue to start. I expect he's going to continue to play big minutes because he's been playing well lately. There's no reason they shouldn't be giving him these minutes with how well he's been playing. So I really like Bjelica here. It's not a good matchup against the Heat. Heat do play slow. They have solid team defense. But 5,300 for Bjelica, if he's going to continue to play 30-plus minutes, it's just too cheap of a price. So really like him as small forward as a cheaper play. You can also play him at power forward on DraftKings. And then the value plays at small forward, sub 5K. I've already talked about Dotson if you want to go to. At 4,800, I think he's in play. But that's really it for this position. Let's move on to power forward, where we have a lot of guys I've already talked about. LaMarcus Aldridge, haven't mentioned. 8,800. Don't think I'm going to be going there against Dallas. I feel like there are better plays on this slate, guys with more upside. Draymond Green at 7K against the Bulls, I can definitely get behind. I do like Draymond Green here, especially with this matchup against the Bulls. I'll have some exposure to Draymond Green. I didn't talk about Anthony Davis. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I don't expect him to play. If he does play at 11,100 against Denver, I mean, Anthony Davis has just been so good this year. I'll probably have exposure to AD, but right now, as I'm recording this video, I don't expect that he plays Monday night, so won't talk about AD too much. So let's go down the 6K range. Julius Randle here at 6,200 should be starting for AD if he's out. Very strong play if you want to go there. And then looking for the value, there isn't a ton at this position besides the guys I've already talked about. Like Bjelica, you can play at this position. I think it's a really good value. Wendell Carter, definitely a good value at 4,700 against the Warriors. He only played 22 minutes in that last game against the Hawks, but did get a double-double in those 22 minutes. Put up 31 DraftKings points. I expect his role to continue to increase. I think we're going to see Wendell Carter pretty much on a nightly basis play 25 to 30 minutes. With Bobby Portis out, he should be looking at more minutes and more opportunity. Definitely like Wendell Carter if you're going cheap at this position. But that's it for power forward. Let's move on to center now. Up top here, you do have Embiid and Jokic. Depending on the two, or like choosing between the two guys, really like Jokic here at 9,900. He might be like my favorite overall, just stud, like 9K and above player on this slate. Jokic just a guy that has so much upside. If AD misses this game, I don't know who they're going to put on Jokic to stop him. I'd imagine AD guards him if AD plays, but like I said, I expect him to be out. So Jokic should totally be able to dominate. He'll probably be guarded by Julius Randle if AD's not able to play, and that's a matchup that Jokic can easily win. I really like him at 9,900. But this mid-tier is definitely loaded at center. There are really strong plays here. So Cat is 8,400 and he gets to face the Lakers. Really like that matchup, even though Cat's been really disappointing this year. This is a good matchup for him. And his Cantor, 7,500. I just love here against Brooklyn. The Knicks did play Brooklyn earlier this year, and Cantor just absolutely dominated. 35 minutes, 29 and 10, 29 points, 10 rebounds, 48 DraftKings points. It is a bit concerning that Cantor's only played 19 and 20 minutes the last two games, and I believe he didn't even start on Friday against the Warriors. If they decide to not start Cantor again, then I'll probably have to get off of him at 7,500, just because the minutes might be trending down for Cantor if he's not going to start anymore. But if we do get a Knicks starting lineup before lock, and Cantor's going to be starting against Brooklyn, then at 7,500, just a really strong play at center. A lot of upside for Cantor in this matchup. I love him. I think Whiteside against Sacramento definitely in play. DJ just been really consistent this year against the Spurs. 7,400, I think he's a strong play as well. If Cantor doesn't start, there's a lot of good pivots to get away from Cantor. Whiteside, Jordan, obviously being two of them. Draymond Green as well. You can play at center. I mentioned Julius Randle, 6,200. Really like him if AD is out. Then the value at center, the cheap plays. Really good matchup for Valanciunas against Brook Lopez, but really don't know how many minutes Valanciunas is going to play. With a guy like Brook Lopez who can stretch the floor, who can step out and shoot threes, that could give Valanciunas some trouble. So he might not see a ton of minutes here, but if he plays 25 minutes against this Milwaukee front court, he should be able to grab plenty of rebounds. We know Brook Lopez, not the best rebounder, just really doesn't try to rebound. So Valanciunas does have some upside here if he gets the minutes, but the minutes are a bit of a concern for me, especially with a guy like Lopez who can give Valanciunas some troubles. But center value, Wendell Carter, mentioned him, really like him. I think that's it for center value though, not a ton of cheap plays I see at this position. So I think that's it for center, and I think that's it for the video, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy this video, and hopefully it did help you. If you enjoyed the video, just make sure you click that like button down below. Really appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. If you do have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Twitter at the DFS_GO, or leave any comments down below, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. And like I mentioned at the beginning, make sure you check out my Week 8 NFL review, where I recap the Week 8 slate, talk about my lineups, how I did in NFL on Sunday. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it, and good luck on this 9-game slate. Peace.